Yeah, I just got one more hot tip to throw in there. Don't marry a vegetarian.
I think start simple, stick with the barbecue you've got. You don't need big expensive barbecues, you don't need a big fancy offset, just a simple Weber kettle is a great way to start, and you can smoke anything on it for a family. It's not ideal in competition, it's a bit more finicky, requires a bit more give and take, a bit more loving, but start with what you got and work from there.
When I was getting started, one of my favourite things to cook was a steak and reverse sear it. What you do is you slowly bring the internal temperature of your steak up in your smoker. You can do this on a Weber or whatever smoker you've got. Once it's up to that ideal internal temperature, like 120, 130 degrees Fahrenheit, you then rest it. Once it's rested, 15, 20 minutes, then you give it a nice sear and it comes out really nice and hot. And basically then it's just slice it and serve it.
The one way to cook good barbecue is to cook a whole lot of bad barbecue. Just rounds down range. Just keep cooking, just keep trying, just keep tweaking. It'll click, and then one day one thing will click and it'll all just fall into place. Oh yeah, that's right, that worked. You just got to keep going. You just
practice.
Just cook.
Just cook.
Just cook.
And take notes along the way.
Take notes, change things. What can I do better? Try that next time. That didn't work. That was worse. Oh, that was better. And just cook.
And then you're on the path. All right, so there's your tip. Just cook.
I'd say the most important would be internal temp. Keeping a consistent temperature on your pit doesn't really matter if you're going high temp or low and slow, just consistency. And just keep an eye on it.
Monitoring that consistency. So if you're at 300, try and sit there all day. Don't have the bursts of heat, and don't let it drop too much. All right. Good tip. All right. So get to know your pit and control your temp. Good tip.
Heat management comes down to smoke control as well. Having a lot of smoke coming out of your smoker is not a good thing. You can actually taint the meat very badly and get a very sour and bitter taste to it. That comes down to one, too much wood, too big a wood. That comes down to what smoke you have. If you've got, say, a Weber kettle, smaller pieces, less. Soaking is a myth. If you want to soak it in whiskey or something, come bring the whiskey to me. Apart from that, just you want a thin blue smoke, constant. If you don't have enough airflow through, that can also choke up your smoke. So my biggest tip is, just concentrate on that thin blue smoke. Too much smoke is white, and you don't want that.
So your average punter tends to panic when the temperature's climbing, and then they tend to shut the air vents down.
Right. If you've got a lot of wood in there to try to get smoke, you are actually going to choke it, send too much white smoke through and taint your meat, and it will taste terrible. That's why when a lot of people say they don't like the taste of smoked meat, it's not because they don't like smoked meat, it's they're getting the wrong smoke through their meat.
Gotcha.
Don't slice your brisket until it's under 160 degrees Fahrenheit.
And why is that?
Because it'll just steam out.
Yeah.
So you just want it to come down naturally, and it'll just sit at a really good temperature for slicing.
So take your brisket out, let it rest.
Let it rest.
Yep.
Just keep feeling it. Let it come to temp. Don't slice it too early. Steam will come out. It'll oxidise really fast.
Right.
All right. Under 160.
Good tip there. So for brisket, let it come down to 160 and then slice.
One of the tips I always swear by is get a good relationship with your butcher. Seek out good produce, treat it simply, and it's a no-brainer. You're going to end up with good barbecue.
So it's easier to make good meat great?
That's it.
All right.
Simple
tip. All right, so get to know your local butcher.
Yeah, definitely. And keep it local, guys. Support your local farmers, your local butchers. Local produce is always best.
I reckon if you're doing pork ribs, they're probably one of my favourite things to do around the place, and we do them a fair bit all the time. So I reckon you cook to colour, so put them in the smoker and give them maybe a couple of hours. Come have a look at them. Make sure that your bark is set, so you've got a nice even colour across them. They start to brown up a little bit.
Yep.
Wrap them with a little bit of, with some foil, with some butter and honey and a bit of brown sugar.
Yep.
And let that run for another couple of hours. Come have a look at them, see if they got a little bit of a bend in them.
Yep.
And if they're starting to pull from the bone. And if you're in that position, then you're probably in the right spot and you're just about ready to eat.
Yeah. All right. So when you wrap them, do you put anything in with the wrap if you're doing it backyard style?
Yeah. So probably the easiest way is just with a little bit of butter or margarine. Really makes no difference.
Yep.
Honey and just some apple juice, to be honest. So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to go too crazy. Just make sure you've got enough in there that's going to sit, and just have a nice little layer of about 5 mil across the bottom of your foil when you wrap it up, and away you go. And
preference, sauce them or leave them?
Mate, I like saucing them.
Yep.
And I think that's just a presentation thing.
Yeah.
I like that style of it. I also like a Memphis dry rib, but yeah, I think here in Australia, and that's probably why it's my preference to being Australian, that we sauce our ribs.
Yeah, mate, I'd give more time. Just if you've got shorter time and you try and do something that's impossible, I wouldn't start it. So if you're wanting to do a brisket and get in for the long haul, just set yourself enough time.
Yep.
Do a bit of research, just find out how long things take, where you want to take them, and yeah, just allow enough time just to get it done.
So time and patience is the tip. Don't rush it.
Don't rush it.
That's a good tip.
All right, so my hot tip is when you're a beginner, do not rely on temperatures. Temperatures are guide only. We only use the probes as a feel. You know, if it goes in the meat softly, easily like butter, this is where we stop. The temperature is only to guide you roughly to see if you're near the end or not.
Temp gets you in the zone.
Yep.
And then the feel kicks that goal. Okay? Yeah, I just got one more hot tip to throw in there. Don't marry a vegetarian.
Thanks, boys.
We did that.
Soaking is a myth. If you want to soak it in whiskey or something, come bring the whiskey to me.
Oh, mate, avoid the $200 brisket at all costs.
Yep.
At that $200 cost even, maybe.
Yep.
You just
practice.
Just cook.
Just cook.
Just cook.
Yep.